I've just come back from a wonderful trip to Bali, and the weather was warm and the days were long. And currently it's about 11 degrees in Melbourne and raining. So it's been quite a change in terms of climate. So today I thought I'd do an episode on some of the wardrobe challenges that we may have after being on holidays for a while and how to reset your style, especially after wearing pieces that may not be your usual personal style. I always find that when I'm on holidays, I tend to be more relaxed with my style, and it's almost like a holiday version of me. Now, the first thing that I absolutely love to do when I've come back from a trip is to do all my washing. I feel like it's a great reset in terms of my mental state. I always think after I've done my washing and got everything clean and ready to go to start my week, I feel like I have reset myself to go back to my routines and my everyday life. Also, dropping things off for dry cleaning or things that just need to freshen up because they've been in your suitcase for a couple of weeks. I make sure I get that done so my wardrobes are ready to go when I go back to work and go back to working with clients. I also assess my current wardrobe after being away because sometimes I do find that being away tells me that I have some wardrobe gaps that I may need to fill because I haven't packed a particular piece because I didn't have that particular piece in my wardrobe, but it was something that I may have needed. So, a great example of this is previously I didn't really have a light jacket in my wardrobe, which definitely comes in handy on the plane or on the cooler nights. Not that we had any in Bali, but if the nights were cooler, then definitely a lighter jacket would be something in my wardrobe that would have served me well. Now, while we're on holidays, we may have purchased some new pieces. Now, this is something that I usually avoid because when it comes to being away, sometimes you're just in a frame of mind where you feel the need to shop or you feel the need to add something into your wardrobe because you're away and you think, oh, this might come in handy when I come back home. So I usually always try to avoid adding new pieces into my wardrobe unless it is something that I think is a wardrobe gap. So I have the same mentality when I'm overseas versus being back at home. I always think about whether it is an actual gap in my wardrobe before I purchase it and whether it's something that I can see myself mixing and matching with my existing wardrobe. I also check the quality of the piece as well because you want to make sure that it is a piece that's going to last a long time in your wardrobe and not something that's going to fall apart after one wash. So I always think about those elements before I add a piece into my wardrobe. And this time round, I actually did buy just a couple of pieces that were gaps. So shorts were a gap for me in my particular wardrobe. I didn't have a lot of shorts for traveling. And since I've been visiting hotter climates this year, I've definitely realized that I need to invest more in shorts because they're just easier to travel in. And another piece that I added into my wardrobe is a casual top because I realized again that that's an area where I did have a gap because a lot of my tops were more formal or going out tops. I didn't have anything that was a little bit more casual, especially for the casual vibe of the places that we visited in Bali. Now, one of the pitfalls that we might find is when we are on holidays, you might find that your style actually changes. Your style is more of a holiday version of you. So you may end up buying pieces that are completely not aligned to your personal style. Now, a good example of this is when I have gone and bought something whimsical or more bohemian, even though that isn't part of my personal style, but the area that I visited, which was Byron Bay, had that particular vibe. So I've gone and purchased something that I feel like represented my time there. However, it did not align with my personal style. So when I did come home and brought that piece back into my wardrobe, I found that I just never wore it. So I do recommend that you have that same mentality as you have back home around whether you actually need the piece in your wardrobe or whether you're just feeling those holiday feels and you just want to buy something and add it to your wardrobe. Another area that you may want to consider after you've come back from holidays is incorporating some new trends and ideas that you may have seen while you're away. I always find in Australia that we're a season behind in terms of the trends that are happening. So if you do go to Europe or the Northern Hemisphere, you'll find that those trends have already started. So you'll be ahead of the game when you come back home. So just having a look at what's trending while you're away and seeing if you can incorporate those pieces when you are back home because you'll be very fashion forward and ahead of the curve. And it's also a bit of fun as well. When I went to South Korea, I found the fashion to be so inspiring because it really aligned with how I personally like to dress. The fashion was really contemporary, minimalistic, and a lot of really fantastic basics. So even though I didn't really purchase anything in South Korea, I have taken inspiration from what I've seen there and will start to incorporate some different looks into my wardrobe based on what I was inspired by and what I saw other people wear overseas. Now, the challenge that I have when I come back from holidays is that I usually have indulged a little bit more in terms of eating things that I normally wouldn't have back home. So maybe dessert every night. And I also find that being on the plane and just being in a different country where you're mostly eating out creates a bit more inflammation in your body. So you may feel a bit more puffy. And coming back home, it takes a little while for you to come back to normality. So from this, I find that some of my clothes don't fit as well. And it usually takes a while for my clothes to fit the way they used to after I've come back from holidays. So, what I like to do is choose pieces and pick out pieces from my current wardrobe that make me feel good, that I know that are a little bit more loose and not as tight. Because the last thing I want to do is make my clothes feel bad about myself. And clothes are meant to be there to make you feel good. So, what I recommend is just choosing those pieces in your wardrobe that make you feel good, that are a little bit looser and will just be really comfortable while your body is coming back to its normal state. I like to pick these clothes out and set them aside, especially if I know that I'll be visiting clients or working. Those will be my outfits, my go-to outfits for the next week. So really being gentle with yourself and making sure that the clothing you pick out for yourself isn't going to make you feel bad, about having a good time and having some time away and enjoying yourself because that's what life is all about, being happy and enjoying yourself. So don't let those clothes make you feel bad after you have been on holidays for a while. I'll definitely be putting my tighter jeans aside for now and going for my looser wide leg fits because they're going to be comfortable and they're going to make me feel good. And the last tip I have is really around organizing and planning because we're all busy and the last thing that we want to do is really think about what outfits we want to wear when we're going back to the office or going back to our business. So it's really about pre-planning all your outfits. And one thing that I always recommend, and I see a lot of clients do, which is amazing, is take selfies of your outfits. So if you have just a whole catalog of different outfits that you've worn in the past that you've really liked, then you can go back to this catalog and see which outfits you want to pre-prepare for your transition back to work. Now, this will really help take out the stress of getting dressed in the mornings, but it will also help you get back to that routine and ease of getting dressed in the mornings. So pick those outfits that make you feel good, that are a little bit looser, that are going to be easy to wear and having that catalog or journal of your outfits will really help in this case as well. It also really minimizes your morning stress, especially if you've had a really relaxing holiday and you're going back to day. You want to take the stressful element of dressing right out of your day. If you have purchased some new pieces whilst you've been on holidays, think about how you can incorporate that into your current wardrobe. So, going back to those principles around whether it mixes and matches with 3 other pieces in your wardrobe, I suggest just trying it on with your current pieces and just having a bit of fun, even looking at Pinterest and seeing how you can incorporate those new styles into your current wardrobe. And that means you can get the maximum wear out of that piece. Don't just let that be a piece that gets put into your wardrobe into the corner and then only comes out when you are going on holidays again. And by then, you may have already forgotten about the piece. And sometimes it just takes a mental push for ourselves to force us to really think about how we can style that piece in our everyday wardrobe to make sure that we get that cost per wear out of that piece. And lastly, just remember use style as a form of self care during your post holiday transition. Let those clothes make you feel good. Go for things that are a bit more relaxed, a bit more loose, and don't be too worried about getting back into your usual wardrobe because that's something that I used to find hard when I've come back from a trip because my body has changed. So, going for those pieces that aren't going to make me feel good because they are a little bit tighter or no longer fit, I don't do that anymore. I just set those pieces aside and I go for those pieces that are really going to make me feel good after being on holidays. And also, still carrying on that relaxed holiday vibe and mindset after you've come back from holidays as well. Just choosing those pieces that are comfortable yet stylish will help you ease back into your routine. So let me know if this episode has helped you with transitioning back into your personal style after being on holidays. And I hope that it really helps you have more of a mindset where you're just really gentle on yourself when it comes to coming back from some time away. Because clothes are going to feel a little bit tighter, a bit more snug. So don't go for pieces that aren't going to make you feel good because I always say clothing does not have feelings, but you do. So you want to choose pieces that are going to make you feel good, especially post holiday when you probably got the post holiday blues. You want the style to be a form of self care that sets you up for coming back to your routines and day to day life. I hope you have a fabulous rest of the week and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye.